Hi, everyone. Welcome to my online summary of the removal process in civil procedure. This is an important thing to know. It's when you remove a case from state court to federal court. So, the removal statute is 28 United States Code Section 1441. That's the basic provision. And what does it allow you to do? Well, it allows the defendant, not the plaintiff, to remove a case from state to federal court, specifically to the district court embracing the place where such action is pending. So basically, which judicial district the state court is in. And the reason the defendant can do this and not the plaintiff is because the plaintiff is the one who filed the suit originally. And the defendant also does not have the ability to remove a case from federal to state court. That's not something you can do. Just state to federal. That's the only way. It's a one-way street. What are the requirements to remove a case from state to federal court? Well, the federal court needs to have original jurisdiction in order for there to be removal, meaning that either there is complete diversity between the parties and the amount in controversy is $75,000 or more, or there is a federal question involved in the lawsuit. And that is, of course, federal question jurisdiction. Removal can't be based on subsequent pleadings like counterclaims. That's another important thing to note. So then there's this limitation on removal called the forum state defendant rule. In a case where federal jurisdiction would be solely based on diversity, the case cannot be removed where any defendant is from the forum state. That's according to 28 U.S.C. 1441 B2. Here's a little hypo. Josh from Texas sues Bob from Nevada under federal law and brings a suit in Nevada state court. This is removable because it's based on federal question jurisdiction. It also is based on diversity, but since there's federal in there, we don't need to worry about the forum state defendant rule. The court has original jurisdiction, and it's not a problem. The procedure of removal. Defendants need to remove within 30 days of receiving the initial pleading or being served with process in the action. If they fail to remove within that period, then they waive their right to remove. When the defendant files notice of removal, they usually must specify the grounds for the case being removable and include a copy of the summons and the complaint. But if a complaint is amended to include a claim under federal law, or if a case becomes one over which federal courts would have diversity jurisdiction, then the defendant has 30 days after receiving the amended complaint or diversity jurisdiction becoming permissible to remove. And this is, of course, out of fairness to defendants, that once we have these changes that materially alter the jurisdiction for the case, then it only makes sense to reset the timer for the defendant to file to remove. Give them another 30 days. Once the notice of removal is filed, the case is automatically transferred to federal court. In response, the plaintiff does have some stuff in their toolkit. They can move to remand on any basis other than lack of subject matter jurisdiction within 30 days. The plaintiff can move to remand based on lack of subject matter jurisdiction at any point before the final judgment. And the reason for that is that plaintiffs waive their rights when they don't raise them, but subject matter jurisdiction is not an actual right of the parties. The litigants don't have a right to subject matter jurisdiction necessarily. It's actually a power of the courts. It's a constitutional issue. So if there's a court that's hearing a case that it doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction over, that is unconstitutional under Article 3 of the Constitution. And that's why any point before final judgment, it can be remanded, because courts are not supposed to hear cases that they don't have subject matter jurisdiction over. And remember, federal courts are courts of limited jurisdiction. I hope that this video is helpful for you to understand the removal process from state to federal court. It's not one of the tougher things in civil procedure, I would argue, but it's still something you need to keep in mind. The requirements, the procedure, the limitations. I hope that you can use this video to get an A+ on your civil procedure exam coming up this semester or any semester in the future. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you in the next video.